I've seen Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episodes 2 and 3, and oh my god, we are so fucking back. Hey everybody, Colton here, and this coming Tuesday, Episodes 2 and 3 of the new season of Born Again will be released, and I am fortunate enough to have already seen them. So, I want to tell you what I thought, non-spoilers of course, and look, it's no secret that the first season of Born Again, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't hate it, but I did have some issues with it, as did many. And those issues stemmed from it being this hybrid smash up of two very different shows. When Marvel decided to do Daredevil again, their plan was to basically ignore the Netflix era and just bring back Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as Daredevil and Kingpin and let those previous shows serve as a very, very loose canon to the new series. And the tone and the direction they were going to take, it felt very Disney Plus and not in a good way. So they had a brand new team making this new Daredevil show, Daredevil Born Again. And no one from the Netflix era, apart from some of the cast, was involved. And I say some of the cast. They weren't bringing back Foggy. They weren't bringing back Karen. I think they had recast Vanessa. So they were doing something very different. But during the strikes, production had to shut down, and Kevin Feige was able to review what had been shot thus far, and he decided that they needed to do a major pivot, and thank God they did. The showrunner for Punisher Season 2, a great season of television, by the way, love the Punisher series, really hope they do a Season 3 eventually, and even, bring back the actress who is now, she's in the Ted series. Her name's escaping me, but she's great as well. I think it'd be really cool to see her pop up in the special or in like a Season 3 or something. Anyway, you can feel watching that first season of Born Again which parts were from the Disney Plusified version and which parts were done after the pivot when they brought back, the people who were working on the Netflix shows, the showrunner of Punisher Season 2 specifically. Now, I tell you all of this because I found myself, when watching Born Again Season 2, Episode 1, feeling very let down by the fact that it still, to me, felt like they were walking this line of being a hybrid of the two versions of the show, despite that no longer being the case. I had some nitpicks about the cinematography and the color grading, and really just the overall feel of the episode. It felt off to me. It still felt very much like Season 1 of Born Again, and I didn't find myself caring about a lot of the characters, like Swordsman, Daniel, Cherry, Kristen, Buck, Heather. I just didn't care. And I was still so pissed from the previous season, the first season of Born Again, in that we got, so little Foggy and so little Karen and so little Frank, and that all of the screen time was given to all these other new characters who were part of the reboot version. And that was because of the fact that they needed to work in most of what they had already shot into the new direction for the season. And with Season 2 being completely done by this new team, or the returning team from the Netflix era, I guess that I was just like really excited for this prospect of getting back to basics and for like a Karen and Matt and Fisk and Vanessa centric story. So when I watched Season 2, Episode 1, and saw that we were still so focused on a lot of the characters that were introduced as part of that first rendition of Born Again Season 1, I don't know. I found myself feeling like, oh, more of this. And I stand by that for Episode 1. But oh my God, Episodes 2 and 3, they changed that for me completely. I am now fully invested in all of these characters. They do such a great job at making someone like me, who just did not care, all of a sudden I care. I am in. So getting you invested in these characters and the stories, that gets much better. The cinematography gets better. The color gets better. The pacing gets better. You feel the tension and the fear and all the emotions that the supporting cast is feeling. And I actually care about them now. And from what I've heard, it just gets better from here. So while I took some shit for not being all over the moon about Episode 1, I know. How dare I share an honest opinion? I can honestly say that I loved episodes 2 and 3. They are gold standard. Now the other, oh, he's a shill. He got his check from Disney. Okay, whatever. Fuck off. And well, while I really enjoyed 2 and 3, episodes 2 and 3 of season 2, it's really episode 3 that made me go, oh man, we are so back. It feels like that old show, and not just the Daredevil show, but the Jessica Jones show, the Luke Cage show, the Punisher show. Those shows all had this same feel to them, and they actually like felt like shows instead of chopped up B movies. And episode 2 and 3, they feel like they are from that era on every level of the filmmaking process. The writing, the dialogue, the performances, the way it's shot and edited and colored, the pacing, it just feels like it is from that era. And that's great news, because that era of television, which wasn't all that long ago, I'm talking like, I don't know, 2010, 11 through like 2018, that was a great era for television, when shows like Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, I know I'm just naming a bunch of AMC shows, but they were breaking the mold for cable TV. And the streaming era really began to stand out as these gold standard shows were coming out and, were Netflix exclusives or, a streaming platform exclusive. And it seemed like the future was really bright for streaming, and that was honestly lost and got really sloppy, I think, when we got into like the 2020s. And I know there was that whole pandemic thing that happened, so I understand that happened. And I think what happened was they just got a little sloppy with it. That's what happened. But I think we are seeing that style of show running come back. And I am ecstatic, because I'd argue that is probably the best era of episodic hour-long narrative television that we've ever had. So yeah, episodes 2 and 3 of Born Again Season 2 are fantastic. I cannot wait for you guys to see them. And I have some high-ass hopes, not only for this season, but for Marvel Television moving forward. Because if they let showrunners like this cat that's doing Born Again and who did Punisher Season 2, if they let people like him keep making not only the shows in the Daredevil, Punisher, Defenders area of the MCU, but get people like him with experience like him to do all the Disney Plus shows, people who actually know how to make TV, Marvel TV and Star Wars TV for that matter, they will be in a really good place. So I hope they'll bring back, more showrunners from those other great shows that Marvel did over on Netflix, and also just other showrunners and writers from other non-Marvel. It doesn't have to just be the Marvel Netflix era showrunners. There are tons of great shows that really created this boom of streaming and it just feels like that boom has kind of died down, because one, there's just so much stuff now, but a lot of it is just so shit. I think that Marvel could really stand out if they make sure that they are bringing in gold standard showrunners and writers. And I hope that they will continue to understand that making shows and making movies are two completely different trades that require very different skill sets. And I hope they'll start letting, just movies be movies and shows be shows, because they are going to be much better off, both respectively, if they do that. And if they keep making things like episode 2 and especially episode 3 of Born Again Season 2, they're going to be in great shape. So once you guys see it, these new 2 episodes, come back here and please let me know what you thought of episodes 2 and 3 of Born Again, because I was just blown away and I am so much more excited for the rest of this season. We are back. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I've been Colton Ogburn, and I will see you next time. Bye!